Oh, happy day, Mama! There's a wedding in town! Okay, I have yet another disclaimer. What I'm gonna tell you now is once again through the eyes of Julian at that time. So in no way is this a critique of our hosts, our family, or anyone else. It's just an account of an ignorant traveler. So where do I begin?
Let's start at the very beginning.
My family is a mixing pot of different cultures. There's South African, Portuguese, Indian, German, a little bit of French, and now that my sister's husband is from Mauritius, there's that whole Mauritian side as well. And I love it. I love that the whole family is spiced with these different flavors. And I'll definitely get into that at some point as well. But today I want to tell you about a really exciting and adventurous event, my sister's wedding in Mauritius.
The vibrant island of Mauritius is located smack bang in the middle of the Indian Ocean east of Madagascar. The spectacular place is home to around 700 plant species, some of the rarest birds, and a myriad of marine life. With a population of roughly 1.9 million, the volcanic island of Île Maurice, as it is called by the locals, has an ever-growing, booming industry of agriculture, exports and tourism. First discovered by the Arabs in the 10th century, the island now boasts a thriving mix of various cultures. Beautiful beaches, lush rainforests, impressive mountains and canyons make this country a truly unique destination.
Now my sister is really lucky, because she got married twice to the same guy. She had a wedding in Cape Town, super chilled, on the beach, 30 people, it was fabulous. 1 year later, she and her husband had to get married the Hindu way. Naturally, this had to happen at his home in Mauritius. Now, I can't say that any one of us was upset at the prospect of traveling to Mauritius for a fabulous wedding. But never in my wildest dreams could I anticipate the ginormity of this event. So the whole Hindu wedding procedure took about 3 days. And these days are packed with a bunch of small traditional ceremonies. So it was really exciting to experience a culture that I had nothing to do with before, and also one that was now part of the family. Mauritius is a dream. That place is so unbelievably cool. The beaches are great, the food is amazing, the people are wonderful. It really is a little piece of heaven. And what I really appreciated about this trip was that we didn't stay in a hotel or anything like that, but that we were super involved in everyday life, also getting to know areas and bits and pieces of life that tourists don't usually see. So it all started with the wardrobe. Now for her wedding, the bride obviously needs a gazillion saris. So does the mother of the bride. So my sister and my mother were hooked up in these super expensive, beautiful saris. These intricate patterns, these beautiful colors. And I do have to say, I was a little jelly. I also wanted a sari. Men traditionally wear kurtas. When I tried on my first kurta, I was like, oh my gosh, I don't ever want to wear anything else. These things are so comfortable and so flattering, and you get to wear the best shoes. So wedding outfits done, it was time to relax on the beach. Enough relaxing on the beach, because a wedding means business, people. So what was really great about this as well was that a bunch of family members from Germany came. This was kind of exciting to see them maneuver their way through this cultural excursion, and it started with the food. One thing I already know from my South African family is that when there's a party, a wedding or a funeral or something like that, not that a funeral is a party, although sometimes it is, the entire village is invited, or they just come because there's food. So much food. So cooking starts days in advance. So the same story was true for Mauritius. I think this entire wedding involved roughly 300 to 400 people, hungry people. So I remember sitting out in the yard with my family and the rest of Mauritius, and we were served these unbelievably tasty curries. So colorful, so nutritious, spicy. Again, food, guys, it's everything. The food was served on big banana leaves, and of course there was no cutlery, so it was all about eating it with your fingers. Now I'm familiar with eating stuff like that with my hands, but it was a little bit funny watching my German family do it. But they tried, they succeeded, because they're troopers. Yes! So then all of these little ceremonial rituals started happening. All of this took place in my brother-in-law's house. He was downstairs and my sister was upstairs. I think they weren't allowed to see each other for 2 days. All of these rituals happened parallel to one another. Now I spent most of my time with my sister, because she's my sister. And I had no idea what all of these rituals meant. Neither did she. Neither did anybody, I had the feeling. Now, there was a little bit of a language barrier. They speak a version of Creole, which is derived from the French, of course. And I do speak French, so I was the translator quite often. But still, it was quite difficult to understand the dialect sometimes. So very often, we were just sitting there with huge question marks in our faces. But the biggest question marks were in the face of my sister. Shame, that poor girl had to sit there and go through all of these things. I mean, there were people painting saffron on her face. There were people touching her all over, wishing her luck and wealth and prosperity and all of those things. She got touched by a lot of people that day. One thing I remember, which was hysterical, was when the priest who was blessing my sister got a phone call in the middle of his prayer and answered it. He was on the phone while he was blessing my sister. Do you mind? But who knows, maybe God was on the phone giving him instructions. So I remember my sister being completely covered in saffron and a whole bunch of yellow and red stuff. I mean, shame, that girl looked like a mud pit. And I think she wasn't even allowed to shower after that. I think she was only allowed to wash herself directly before or after the actual wedding ceremony, like the final kahuna. During this entire thing, I kept on asking people what these rituals were meant to be for. And everyone had different answers. General consensus: wealth, health, happiness, children, basically. I tell you, my sister, she did it all. And she did it all with a smile. The following day was the actual big wedding ceremony. God knows what the hell that was about. This took place in an actual temple. It was probably the more meagerly visited event. There was no food involved, so there were maybe 80 or 100 people. And I remember sitting on the stage at the altar. Oh my gosh, my dad wasn't even there. The flight was cancelled because there was a storm, so he couldn't make it in time for the ceremony and only came a little bit later. Right, and my uncle kind of substituted in for my dad. So we were sitting on stage, on the altar area. Again, no idea what was going on. For instance, I had to grab into a bowl of what looked like cornflakes and Rice Krispies and then walk around this little shrine while holding my sister and then throw the cereal onto her. And I think we repeated this 3 times. Luck, health, fertility, wealth. So there were all these little interesting events that took place during the service. Eventually we were done and then prepared for this epic wedding reception. This exquisitely decorated hall with a beautiful buffet, everyone looking like they hopped straight out of a fairy tale. My sister dressed in yet again another outfit, so I ended up saying a few words in French and then sang a little impromptu a cappella Beatles song, just to contribute. To be part of such a big cultural, festive and traditional event is something I will never forget. And another thing I have to say is that the community really welcomed us with open arms. They were so eager to engage, so eager to show, so eager to include everyone. So that was really, really special. We then still had some actual holiday time where we could enjoy the island. And one thing is for sure, Mauritius is always going to be on the list of places I will go back and back and back and back to. That's it from me for today. I'm checking out. See you tomorrow.